March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Sturbridge Planning Board will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information in the general guidelines for remote participation can be found on the town's website at www.sturbridge.gov/town-administrator/how-access-virtual-meeting. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to listen and/or watch the meeting either online via the town's on-demand video broadcast, on cable television on channel 191, or dial into the meeting at 774-304-1455, enter 1428# for the meeting number, and 12345 for the access code. This phone number is only active for the public during public meetings. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so despite best efforts, we will post audio and/or video recordings, transcript, or other comprehensive record of the proceedings on the town's website as soon as possible after the meeting. So I'll go over the agenda. The first item was a call to order, and we'll have the approval of the minutes of May 11th. At 6:31, we have an A&R for 305 Cedar Street and 71A Road, presented by Michael Stower. At 6:35, we'll have a continuation of the public hearing for Fistkill East Realty Trust, requesting a definitive subdivision approval for property located at 30 Main Street and 20 Fistkill Road. At 6:40 p.m., we'll have a continuation of a public hearing, special permit, and site plan approval for 195, 197, 201, and 201A Charlton Road, Noble Energy Real Estate Holdings, LLC. The applicant proposes to construct an 8,437 square foot travel plaza and a 16,640 square foot two-story electric vehicle discovery center. After that, we'll have the town planner update, although unfortunately the town planner can't be with us tonight. And following that, we'll have old business and new business. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes of May 11th? Does anyone have any questions or comments? If not, I'll accept a motion to approve as submitted.
So moved, Russell.
Russell, thank you.
Second, Sue.
Second, Sue. Very good. Sue, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Dane?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Russ?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Very good. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is the A&R, 305 Cedar Street. I think Michael Stower is here. Would you like to just go over this quickly, what your plan is?
Well, actually, I think Jeremy's here.
Okay,
Jeremy.
all right. Great.
Yes, I'm on the phone, sorry. Yeah, basically what we're doing here is Mike right now has about 47 acres, 35 of it's in Sturbridge, 35 is in Brookfield, 12 in Sturbridge. Essentially, he's breaking off a 10-acre piece and selling the house off, and we're basically just taking if you look at the bottom of the plan, there's just a small little sliver of land in Sturbridge that we're dividing. It's about 11,000 square feet, and we're splitting it with about 5,000, 6,000 square feet. The remaining land has 200 feet of frontage in Sturbridge, and the remaining land with the house has a couple, like 1,000 feet, into Brookfield. So it has the remaining frontage on Brookfield, their zoning, so.
Very good. Thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions? Okay. If not, could we have a motion then to have the clerk sign the A&R?
So moved, Chris. So moved, Russell.
Okay, Chris. Russell, second?
Sure.
Okay. Yep. Sue, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Dane?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Russ?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Very good. Thank you very much. Sue,
Thank you.
again,
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I think we have another minute before the time comes for the continuation of the public hearing. We'll just wait. Oh, there we go. Okay. So now we're having the continuation of the public hearing for Fisk Hill East Realty Trust. Let's see. With that, does the proponent have anything they want to begin discussing? Okay.
Don't know if they are here. Hold on one second.
Looks like we're just gonna do a continuation, Charlie.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were going to be in, to discuss anything, but yeah, I think you're right. We should also check, though, since it's a continuation of the public hearing, to see if there's anyone online that would like to discuss anything before we continue it.
Hold on one sec.
Good evening. Is there anyone on the public line that would like to speak to the planning board about the Fisk Hill project? Is there anyone on the public line that would like to speak to the planning board regarding the Fisk Hill project?
Doesn't look like there's anyone on the public line.
Okay, great. So Jane is recommending that the board vote to continue the public hearing until June 22nd, 2021 at 6:55 p.m. as requested, and also recommend that the planning board agree to the extension of time to act until July 31st, 2021, and that record of such vote be filed with the office of the town clerk. Can we have such motion?
So moved, Russell.
Russ, thank you. Second?
Second, Mike?
Thank you, Mike. Sue, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Dane?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Russ?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Very good. Thank you. Okay. We're almost there. We have 6:37, a few more minutes, and we'll be able to go. I know we don't have much in the town planner's report was pretty much a reminder that, we have articles at the annual town meeting June 7th. So hopefully everyone can attend. We have several articles at the town meeting. And then the next meeting after that would be June 8th. But right now we have no requests, so that may or may not be a meeting that we hold. And then the next meeting would be the one that we're continuing the previous project to. Okay. Few more minutes.
Who on the team would like to share their screen so I can set that up while we're waiting?
Yes, I would like to share my screen to do a presentation on traffic.
All right, so Bernie, all right, hold on one second.
Got those Red Sox. Nothing? Nothing. What time do we need?
All right,
6:40. There
yeah, we
go.
got 6:40.
Okay, we just hit 6:40. Okay, so now we'll have a continuation of the public hearing for the project of Noble Energy Real Estate Holdings LLC. And the presentation, want to begin with that, please?
Yes, hello, Mr. Chairman. My name is David Feist with CMG. I'm the project civil engineer. I'll introduce Bernie Gwen with Vanessa and Associates. He's going to give, to start our presentation tonight, just a discussion of his traffic report and answer any questions you might have related to his presentation.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, I'm kind of new to this GoToMeeting. Couldn't find my icon. Does anyone able to see the screen?
We can.
Okay.
Is there any way to make it bigger on the screen, or no? Is that it?
I'm trying to see if I could, and I can't figure it out. See. Not that, sorry, I'm not that familiar with the GoToMeeting. I usually use Zoom.
All right, well, I'm sure we can try to look at it this way and see. Sure.
There's a scale down the bottom, Bernie, if you want to slide that.
Slide it over.
Yeah, like right in the right, go to the right.
Right?
Yeah, see where it says 100%, the minus and the plus, then there's 100% down the bottom.
I don't see the plus minus. Because I'll try to knock this down in my screen.
Yeah, there's a little sliding scale. I don't know if you hit it, it'll get any bigger or not.
呢度呢，幫我睇下。
The bottom right, yeah.
我點樣整咗個 screen 嚟我講做我 presentation。
We can proceed with this, and hopefully we'll be able to see it all right.
Help me to. I'm trying to get someone to help me to get. Going.
There we go. That's good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Bernie Goon with Vanessa Associates. Basically, we did a transportation impact assessment for the proposed travel center to be located at 195 Charlton Road in Sturbridge, Massachusetts. And the next slide shows the site location related to the Warway system with 2084. With the project site, we also shows the location as related to Orwell and the other intersection that centers at bookshops. And the next slide just basically showed that we did an inventory of the existing in October 2020. We inventoried the number of travel lanes at each of the area intersection, including Orwell to the west of the project site and the center at books east of the project site. And as you can see there, there's only one signalized intersection, which is at the center at Oxbook, and all the other intersections are signalized. We are under existing condition, there's a sidewalk along the south side of Route 20 in the vicinity of our project site. I'm sorry. For this traffic study, we collected the traffic data and the field inventory in October 2020. And the traffic volume, since it's conducted in October, we do a traffic volume seasonal adjustment and a review of a Mass DOT continuous count station located on I-84. Based on the station, the traffic volume we collected in October is approximately 2% above average month, so we did not adjust the raw data count to present a more conservative analysis. Also, since the traffic data was collected during the pandemic, according to Mass DOT guidelines, we adjust the traffic volumes accordingly to pre-COVID condition by applying a adjustment factor to the traffic volume that we collected in 2020, and basically it's 8% for the weekday and Saturday daily volumes. During the weekday morning is a 15% adjustment. For the weekday evening and Saturday midday is a 1% adjustment. We also collect the speed data along Route 20 to measure the 85th percentile speed is approximately 52 miles along this stretch of Route 20. The 85th percentile speed measurement is used for the towns and the state to set the speed limit of the roadway. So basically, what we measure is what is pretty much posted along Route 20, 50 miles per hour. We also look at accident data along this stretch of roadway based on a review of Mass DOT's crash data for the 5 years, the latest 5 years available from 2014 to 2018. A review of that data indicates that there's no intersections of no section of roadway that has any high class problem, and the location is not in Mass DOT's high class location mapping. With that, we move on into 2028 future year traffic volume conditions. Based on the review, discussion of the town of Sturbridge and Charlton, a total of 11 background projects was included in the future traffic volume conditions, 6 in Sturbridge and 5 in Charlton. In addition, we also increased the traffic volume by background growth rate for 1% per year for 7 years to the year 2028. With that, we developed the 2028 traffic volume condition. And the next step is that we estimate the number of vehicle trips to be generated by the project. For the travel center, we collected existing data at 2 extra map facilities located along Route 146. One is in Millbury, one is in Sutton. The reason why we collected this location is because we heard discussion with Mass DOT District 3 traffic engineers. They recommend that this 2 sites to be counted because it is basically within a similar location on the major roadway, Route 146, and is close to our interstate system, which is a Turnpike I-90. And that's why we collected data. Basically, we collected for the daily volume, weekday morning peak hour, weekday evening peak hour, and Saturday midday peak hour. Basically, to continue 24 hours in those 2 locations. And then we average the trip rate of these 2 sites and then generated number of vehicle trips for this project based on that empirical data. For the electrical vehicle discovery center, which consists of the electric Vehicle Discovery Center office and a sit-down restaurant. We use the Institute of Transportation Engineer trip generation manual ways to estimate the number of vehicle trips. With adjustment to pass-by trips, the number of new vehicle trips to be generated by the project is during the weekday is 2,636 trips. During the weekday morning peak hour, 432 new vehicle trips will be generated, with 236 entering and 196 exiting. During the weekday evening peak hour, a total of 280 trips, 218 trips will be generated, with 107 trips entering and 111 trips exiting. During the Saturday midday peak hour, a total of 237 new vehicle trips will be generated by the project, with 119 entering, 118 exiting. With the trip generated by the project, we estimate the trip distribution pattern for the project based on existing motorway traffic patterns and the location of the major interstate highways. With that, we basically estimate that 55% of traffic will coming from the west of Route 20, 10% from Hall Road, and 35% from east of the project site along Route 20. And then we distribute the traffic accordingly with the percentage split. We've assigned approximately 25% of traffic will be exiting the exit-only easterly driveway, and 75% will be exiting from the main site driveway. 100% of traffic will go going into the main site driveway. And then we're analyzing the intersections accordingly based on the future build condition, also under the existing and the 2028 no build condition. A signal one analysis also performed at the main site driveway of Route 20 based on the traffic signal one analysis. It indicates that the traffic signal is warranted at the main site driveway, which includes exclusive left turn on the Route 20 East westbound approach, and 2 full lanes on the Route 20 westbound, and 2 general purpose lanes on Route 20 eastbound, and an empty exit lane from the project site driveway. With this design, the main site driveway is projected to be operating at level service E conditions in the future with the project. And at the east, exit only drive, the level service was D, which is acceptable with urban during this kind of urban setting. In addition, we are analyzing the Route 20 at the center at hub spokes intersection, and basically is operating at level service B or better. The intersection of Hall at Route 20, the left turn movement is currently operating at constraint condition and level service E and F during the commuter peak hours. That's just because of the volume of Route 20, and this condition is with or without the project will be continuing operating at this kind of level service. In summary, basically this translation impact assessment was conducted in accordance with Mass DOT's transportation impact assessment guidelines. And then we include a detailed assessment of traffic volumes, pedestrians, bicycle accommodation, and public transportation service. Based on our analysis, the project will not have a significant impact increase on motor vehicles delay or vehicles queuing, exceeding for anticipating future conditions. Without the project, no build conditions. With the majority of the movement of the study in also operating at level service D or better under all analysis conditions, where level service D or better is defined as acceptable operating conditions. As mentioned previously, with the installation of traffic control signal at the main project site driveway with Route 20 and the accompanying construction of left turning on the Route 20 westbound approach, all movement at the inspection was shown to operate at level service or better, with the overall level of service be this section. All the movements exiting from the one-way exit-only project site driveway to the easterly driveway to Route 20 are expected to operate at level service D or better, with a protected vehicle queue of 2 vehicles, which could be contained in the project site itself. And at this site, I know there's some questions regarding the left turning tractor trailers. And we have basically this is based on our analysis and the review of the roadway condition. We don't think that will be a problem because majority of the traffic or the truck traffic that is going to be using this travel center should be heading to Route 20 eastbound direction. And it's not just coming out from the interstate to go to this travel center to get fuel and then turn back onto the major highway system, the 84, I-84. So we're not expecting there's a lot of trailer traffic in there. In addition, the project sites only provide 2 tractor trailer parking spaces in the rear, and also a review of the traffic operation at the proposed signal location, just because there's a traffic signal that's providing additional gaps for the truck turning left toward the project site, because the westbound traffic will be stopped and at that time, and the site traffic will be exiting traffic, so that creates a gap for them to making a left turn out. In addition, we have reviewed the vehicle queue length along the Route 20 eastbound direction. The longest the 90th percentile queue on those lanes, on the foot lanes, is 152 feet, and the left turn lanes approximately 109 feet, and the distance between the stop line to our easterly driveway is approximately 340 feet. So whatever the truck traffic is turning left onto it, it will not be blocked by the vehicle stopping at the traffic light. And with the gap that's provided, we expected it to be safely exiting the site drive onto the Route 20 westbound approach. And in addition, like I mentioned previously, we are not expecting a lot of trucks will be coming into this travel center. And then I guess the other thing is that, as I mentioned, the cargo intersection at Route 20 is currently offering a level of service E&F under the 2020 existing traffic conditions. Based on our review of this crash data, and there's no apparent safety deficiency noted with respect to the motor vehicle crash history at the study area intersections. And based on our stopping site distance measurement, lines of sight to and from the project site driveways in section 2, which is both of them, exceeds the recommended minimum distance for the intersection to function in a safe and efficient manner based on the measured travel along Route 20 approaching the driveways. And we basically a 55 mile per hour design speed to measure the site of this project. The next slide is basically showing a conceptual improvement plan of the project site driveway on Route 20. On this conceptual improvement plan, we did not align the site driveways opposite the proposed site driveway when we prepare the plans, because we are not sure if that will be part of the signal system. If it's not in the signal system, it is away from the signal, so it will be having the same operation as previously with the unsignalized condition. If the site driveway is relocated opposite the proposed project site driveway, based on my latest analysis, the intersection operation will be the same level service speed with the relocation of the bank driveway at this intersection. Basically, this ends my presentation. If there's any question, I'll be happy to answer.
Okay, Bernie, thank you very much. We have with us John Shevlin from Power Associates, our peer review. John, do you want to give your comments on this study?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Charlie. Good evening, everybody. So PAR was hired to go ahead and take a look at the site plans, the traffic, and the stormwater design for this project, which we submitted comments back on May 12th. We did send out our comments. We have recently received responses from Vanessa, responded to all our comments. I would say generally, the way the report was done, the methodology that they took as far as the approach, as far as analyzing traffic capacity and traffic safety issues, we're in agreement with as far as their approach and how they did that. There are a few areas that we raised that we had, some concerns with that we still would like to go ahead and look at a little bit further, just in regards to responses and the analysis that were sent. I know, one of the things we'll, could talk about is in regards to where the proposed signal would be. I'm not sure exactly if it was mentioned in regards to what the status is as far as the coordination there with the bank. I think it almost has to be done as far as lining up that intersection. I think it would be a tough left turn movement coming out of the bank if they had the signal at their driveway, which is offset a little bit. I think it's going to be tough if vehicles do get stopped at the red light and they could be backed up there. So I think it almost needs to be done as far as going ahead and line those up. So I think that's something that should be taken a look at. I was concerned when we did the field review as far as the left turn for trucks coming out of the site. My initial thought, before we even started getting into the review, was that most of the trucks would be heading back towards 84 and heading on the turnpike. Vanessa came back and responded based on the pilot, and then also there is a station up on the turnpike heading eastbound, that they would anticipate any of the trucks coming for diesel would go ahead and be going on Route 20 eastbound. And I think, look at this, I think I am in agreement in regards to the majority would go that way. But still, in regards to any ones that do take the left turn, I still have somewhat of a concern because what hasn't really been addressed is at the exit driveway, there's a two-way left turn lane in there. And I don't believe the analysis took into account the property across the street. So I'd like to go ahead and just to see in regards to, the traffic counts that are from that development. I think when they looked at that exit driveway for the proposed site, I think they looked at it just as a three-way intersection. And I'm not sure if that's a big generator or not across the street. But it's just something that should be just taken a look at. And then in regards to with the two-way left turn lane in the center lane, if cars are stopping and trying to make a left turn into that site, taking into account also the left turns, I think that should be just looked at a little bit further. As Bernie mentioned, the action marks at, my initial comment was in regards to, is this a similar use? I know just driving by the action marks didn't seem like that has many features as this proposed site would have, as far as the restaurant and as far as the ice cream shop. Their response, I think, is believed that the ice cream shop will have, will probably occur after peak hours, which I can somewhat agree with. I think that's something that, you'll have visitors during the day, but I think you'll have a lot that may go after dinner, or, kids playing baseball, softball, or whatever may go after their games or whatever. So a lot of those could occur after hours. And so I think that could be there, and I think, with the usage that they have and with the extra mart, that, it is a similar type of use. I know in the field we talked about in regards to the conference center and the adjoining building. I believe Vanessa responded back that they expected, any classes or, teaching that they may do there, informational sessions or whatever it may be, would occur and will be released before the peak hour. But I think we said in the field that there'll probably be about maximum 75 participants in any instructionals, and just want to make sure that doesn't occur during the peak hours as far as the release of that, which would significantly impact the amount of volumes leaving the site for a certain period. Just to go ahead and just get confirmation on that. So that's really the main things. Like I said, the safety issues that they looked at as far as sight lines, and that was in agreement with in regards to what they provided as far as the information. But I think it's just some of the capacity and the design issues. And I know that, Vanessa and the project team are working with Mass DOT as far as just getting, and with the bank as far as getting some of these issues finalized. So I think it's just, I would like to go ahead and respond to their responses that they sent over the other day and get those and just continue discussion before finalizing my review on that. And then, that's basically traffic. I did have some other stuff that I did talk to David about as far as the site, gave comments in regards to that, the site plans, and also the stormwater, which I think we're going to be addressing at the next meeting as well. And they want the opportunity to go ahead and respond to those comments. So it's a relatively quick summary, but I'm here for any questions.
Okay, John, I just have a quick question to understand a little bit better on this bank driveway alignment issue. So is the idea that it seems that it would be best to have that move? And if so, is that then become a cost of this project? I mean, how do you move the bank's driveway?
I believe the owner, I don't want to speak for the owner, but I believe the owner is in discussions with them. And I believe it's going to be, something that he'd be addressing as far as the driveway. But I'll let him address that.
Okay, but so right now though, it looks like it would be better if it was moved. Is that the idea?
It would be better if it was moved. Just as far as the operation of the signal, and like I said, if it is offset the way that's shown on the plans before, they went ahead, and I know they developed these plans before they had any discussions with the bank. But if it was that way, I think I would have a concern with that left turn movement coming out of the bank with cars stacking at the red light. It's very close to the intersection.
All right. Okay. Does the project owner want to have any more discussion on that, or are we?
Sure. For the record, Michael Frisbee. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us tonight. I wanted to address the access with the bank. I've had preliminary conversations with the bank. I think they're amenable to some agreement as to the realignment of their driveways, obviously subject to their review and approval, but we haven't got to that point yet. But I've had initial discussions with them, and I think that they're amenable to that. And I think it's a benefit to their project as well.
Good. Okay, so then I think the best thing then would be to see if any of the board members have any comments, anything that would like to be considered in this. Sue, do you have any questions or comments so far on the traffic status?
I do, but I'd like to reserve the right to comment.
Sure. Chris?
I just have a quick question, and John, maybe you can help answer this one. It seemed like a lot of the reports were basing the traffic studies off of 2020 data. Is it safe to assume that that's a good barometer for us to use given the pandemic and that traffic as a whole was down significantly?
Yeah, Chris, good question. They did use the basis 2020 data, but they did go ahead and put adjustment factors on there. They took counts from a Mass DOT count station, and they went ahead and they took what the differences were pre-COVID and during COVID, and they made those adjustments to make the counts that they did in 2020 to be to match what would be existing based on a percentage of what they gathered. So they did, my opinion is they did make the proper adjustments in order to go ahead and make the existing conditions, pretty close to what they should be. And the counting station was very close nearby that they used.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, great. Dane, do you have anything?
When vehicles are stopped at the new field, will Hall Road be blocked by the queue?
Dane, I believe I looked at that and I thought it was short of Hall Road. Let me verify that.
Let me take a look. You will not block forward. It's just about to Hall Road.
The queue stops just short of Hall Road?
I believe based on the house, that's what I recall.
And that is the 90th percentile kill. The average kill is much shorter.
Are you reviewing that, John, or?
Yeah, I'm looking. I think I got it right here, actually. Trying to find the PM peak hour here. All right, here we go. Let's see. So heading eastbound. So you're heading eastbound to Hall Road, where the site driveway is going to be. It's showing as 280 feet, and it looks like it measures to about 400 feet to Hall Road from where the site driveway is going to be. So it should be short of that.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Dane, do you have anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Mike.
I guess to build on Dane's comment, would the queue there pulling into the development creative, they would block visibility for anyone turning out of Hall, right? Even if it's 200 feet away?
I didn't check the sight lines on that, but you know, looking at the roadway on the opposite side, and with that light, you know, traffic light, I think if anything, cars that could be pulling out of there may have more of a gap when that's red. So I think the sight lines there should be satisfactory for them to pull out.
Yep. And then the where the tractor trailers exit on the unsignaled drive, does that fall directly across from, what is it, 198?
Look at the plans; it's a little bit offset to 198. So it's not directly across. It's you know, looks like it's maybe about 40 feet or so to the east. So it is offset.
Yeah, I'm thinking just that the tractor trailers pulling out of there, that could create some issues, and I know there's some staff comments on that. I don't know if you have an opinion, John.
Yeah, and that's what I was asking in regards to if it'd be good to know what the traffic patterns are with that development across the street. I don't believe that's included in the study as far as what's coming in and out of that site, so it'd be good to know conflicting movements that may or may not occur with that. And I think coming out of there, you know, looking at it, I think their thoughts are with the tractor trailers, you know, a lot of them, majority of them will be taking a right. But the ones that do take a left, I think it will have the benefit of having a signalized intersection, which will give them a gap as far as pulling out. And at the same time, with what they're showing as far as the queues, looks like they're going to be well short of where this driveway is going to be. But I would like to go ahead and just have them look further in regards to with the, you know, like I said, the traffic across the street, and the fact that they're going to be incorporating a two-way left turn lane in the center lane to see how that overall operation could occur. So I think we kind of need to know what the volumes are that are actually going in and out of that site.
That makes sense. Thanks, John.
Yeah, very good, thank you. Jeff, comments?
I have nothing further.
Okay, Russ?
A couple of things. On page 3 of Brian's report, shows existing conditions, and it appears that it shows a sidewalk, like all the way from Wendy's, pretty much up to Russ Penning's place. And unless I'm mistaken, I don't recall seeing a sidewalk that whole length. And then I seriously, along with what John was saying, respectfully disagree on their comments about the trucks pulling out of there and the majority of them going east. I just have a problem with that. And then the other thing is, what's going to stop the trucks? The light turns red, and you got 2 lanes of traffic coming from the shopping center, coming westbound. What's going to stop the trucks, trailer trucks, from completely blocking the eastbound lanes until somebody lets them in for the westbound lanes when they do cross the road? It seems like they're going to be putting up roadblocks all the time, and as everybody in town knows, there's a lot of times when there's 2 solid lanes of traffic coming westbound, and when they stop at the red light, they're going to block those 2 lanes, and the truck will have nowhere to go except for blocking the 2 eastbound lanes, because they're going to pull out and block the 2 lanes until somebody lets them out, and who's going to do that? So I'd like to see that addressed.
Okay, anything to add on that, John? Are you ready?
I agree with Mr. Chamberlain as far as just addressing that a little bit better in regards to getting more solid information as far as where the trucks may be heading.
Okay, good. Sue, did you have anything you wanted to add now, or?
Yes, I do. How far along, how do you know that you will be able to get a traffic light from Mass DOT at that site? Has it been approved? John, do you know?
I think Susan, right now, I think they're in discussions. I think they submitted a preliminary request to Mass DOT, and according to the report, they did have an initial coordination meeting with them back in December. I'm not sure beyond that in regards to where the status is as far as further discussions and further submittals.
I think that is, we have to submit ENF and a EIR report first, and then after that, we'll probably, start. When we get approval of the project, we'll probably start design. So the signal will be maybe year and a half away from now.
I just think it's difficult to be talking about directional turns on this conceptual traffic light, because I do know how difficult it is, and that area is a low crash zone. So I know that is one of the reasons why Mass DOT allows traffic lights to be installed. If the crash rate is higher. So I'm not even sure we are going to have a traffic light there. So that's a concern of mine, for starters. The second thing is we have 2 new facilities going up west of this new site that are going to accommodate tractor trailers that will be traveling west on Route 20 to access the Pike and 84. And we haven't been able to account for that traffic yet. Those are 2 newly developed facilities, or developing facilities. So those are going to be 18-wheelers coming through there. The other thing is we have turning lanes on Route 20, like turning to Hall Road, and I'm not sure if there's one to turn into the bank. But I'm wondering how this project will interrupt that flow of traffic. Coming west on 20, approaching Hall Road, there's a turning lane off of 20.
Correct.
So it's just something else to be thought about. And
Yeah, Susan, just currently there is no turn lane into the bank, but there is a striped median.
Okay.
So like there is space there, and I think as part of this design, I would assume that they would, if they do line up the driveways, they would have a left turn lane into the bank at the light, at the signal was put in.
And do you assume that the left-hand turn into Hall Road would be changed?
That
Because of
shouldn't,
that?
I wouldn't think that would change. Yeah,
You don't
that wouldn't change down that way. No. That left turn lane will stay as is.
Okay. And I agree with previous board members about the fact that most traffic will be turning west, not east, onto. So I thank you for your time.
Okay, just to clarify a few things here now. It's my understanding that the additional traffic and so forth triggers the need for a traffic light. I mean, am I wrong in understanding that in order for this project to move forward, traffic light has to be a key component of the traffic mitigation?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. Bernie, go ahead.
Okay, yes, I mean, based on the analysis, the traffic signal is one that, and we are discussing with SDOT. Basically, they mentioned if we meet the one, we'll review it, and I mean that's part of the thing that we did. Spend a lot of time doing all this collecting traffic data to show them that they want a traffic signal at the location.
Right. And as far as the proposed projects in Charlton, in other words, this is a project that's moving ahead, at least in the planning stage, before those are. And I know Gene has made it clear, both last year and again this year, of the impact those projects may have and will have on this section, and the fact that since the earlier information was provided, we've added the projects, the two cold storage projects. We have this project and a potential moving of another facility across the street. And so, the dialogue and the information is out there for, consideration on those other projects. So the state will be aware of, and the need will be there to take all this traffic into account. Isn't that correct, John?
Yeah, yes, it is. And I know they did include, I believe it was like 11 projects in the development stage as part of their traffic study. So they did include those traffic volumes as far as the background growth. So when you're analyzing it for the future conditions, the volumes were added in there for other development.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, they did include that.
Right. Now, is there anything you wanted to touch on the stormwater, or you want to wait for the next time for that?
It might be, I think, like I said, I talked to David briefly. I know he's, I talked to him today just to see if he had any questions and such. And, I think the comments, that I provided, I think the big thing is just as far as the crossing and where eventually it all falls when it goes under Route 20. I think there's a design that they have based on the existing conditions. They're going with mainly a closed drainage system with a lot of water quality structures in there. I think is, a good design for what they have. And they are reducing the amount of runoff from the site compared to the existing condition. So I think the big thing is just in regards to ultimately where the water goes to, or is it going to a critical area or not? And I think that's something the applicant was looking into.
Okay, good. Thank you.
David, I don't know if there's anything I was missing or any other issues you may have or anything like that, but.
Nope, not at this point. I'll just add, Mr. Chairman, just that we did receive PAR's letter last week, and we're just in the process of responding to those. So we hope to have those back to John and to Gene by probably the end of this week or early next week, prior to the following meeting.
Okay, very good. So if there's nothing else on this, I think Gene has also asked that the applicant review the special permit request for the signs. And so would you like to, who's going to deal with that?
Actually, I can probably take the lead on that, Mr. Chairman. I guess if I could, I'll probably also have to ask Matt Whitmer, after I share my screen, I'll show you the no filling station signage. And then Matt Whitmer is also here with us tonight. He's the architect for the EV Discovery Building, just to share the signage on those buildings. So if I could have permission to share my screen.
Give us 1 sec.
Okay, so can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Fine.
Okay, so just to start with, so tonight for the special permit, I know Gene put together sort of a summary. We submitted a letter yesterday just sort of how the proposed signage for the site meets the special permit criteria. And basically on the project, there is just a few signs that were requested that will actually require a special permit. One is for the Noble Energy main ID sign, which is the one here, which will be on the building itself. And that's proposed that, we're proposing that at 50 square feet. The other sign we're requesting special permits for, you'll see on this, in the middle of the screen, the Noble canopy signage. We're proposing this is in addition to what are allowed for the building signage, just to have the Noble logo located on the 4 sides of the front canopy for the gas fueling area, on the high-speed diesel canopy, as well as the electric vehicle canopy as well. And there are 8 signs total at 13.75 square feet for each sign. The last special permit related to the Noble filling station, you'll see is the Noble freestanding multi-tenant sign. That sign, again, I believe the requirement's 50 square feet. We're proposing a 65 square foot sign. And again, we have gone through the design review committee process, and the design review committee has approved all of the signage for the look and the design. You'll note the pylon sign has been, the change is modified slightly to have it sort of be a little less colonial, but sort of to be in keeping with the architecture of the building. So I guess to start with, if there were any questions on those signs, I would take those. And if not, Mr. Chairman, then I'd probably ask Mr. Matt Whitmer to maybe show you the EV Discovery signage.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions on this series of sign requests?
Charlie, I had one small question. David, at the very bottom of the freestanding sign, there's a very small white circle that I can't quite distinguish. Is that just like a design, or is that the street address?
Actually, that would be the street address. You'll see it just has the number signs there. That would be the street address for the project.
Perfect. That's what I figured. That's all I got, Charlie.
Okay. Thank you, Dane.
Mr. Chairman, Davis, you're just putting one pylon sign at the main entrance?
Correct. And just for the record also, the EV Discovery Center will not have a pylon sign. This is just for the Noble filling station convenience store building.
Okay, good. Okay, do you want to go to the next one? You were going to talk about the EV Discovery sign?
Yes, so let's see. I'm going to share my screen here. If I could.
Matt. Yep. Sorry.
No, oh, yeah, Matt Whitmer. I'm sorry. Yeah, for the record, I'm Matt Whitmer from Phase Zero Design. I apologize. It's like I'm back with old friends. But anyway, I'd just like to share my screen here if I could. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to share this image right now, which is actually the image of the Discovery Center looking at the building from the parking lot. And the sign in question, if you can see my mouse, is this Discovery Center sign here that I'm circling on this upper portion of the building. This is 144 square feet. It was approved by DRB. It is externally lit. And I will also show you the other sign. Let me see, why did that just fade out? Hang on a second here. I don't want to stop sharing, do I? No. Let me hit escape. And the other sign is actually viewed from the road. This sign right here, again, it's an EV Discovery Center. It's 230 square feet. It's a little bit larger than the sign on the parking lot sign. side. There are some other signs here too that you can see, but we're not. It's my understanding we're not looking for review or approval of those signs yet until we have more information. It's really these two signs that I just showed you, and I can show you these on the building elevations themselves. Going back to this image, this is the view south facing on Charlton Road. The EV Discovery Center sign building actually folds away from the viewer here. It's actually at an angle. And then back into the parking lot, this is the sign in question here on the elevation facing the parking lot area. So if there are any questions on those signs, like David mentioned, there is no pylon in this building. So we're really using the signage on the building itself to denote the building and what's inside.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions on those two signs?
Yes, Charlie, just a quick question. Matt, the sign that's facing Route 20, how big was that about?
So the sign facing Route 20 is 230 square feet.
Okay, and how far about is that building elevation off of the roadway?
David, could you answer that? I don't have that on the that dimension hand.
Yeah, I believe it's probably set back, at least from the property line, is about 25 feet. And when I can bring up the site plan next, but I believe it's over 25 feet from the edge of the road because there's an additional strip before the edge of the right-of-way curbing.
Gotcha. So like 25, 27, 30 feet away, something like that, and it's like 230 square feet.
That's correct.
That will have presence.
Yes. Yes.
All I got, Charlie.
Okay, thank you. So, Matt, are you planning on then withdrawing without prejudice the other signs?
That is correct.
Yes, correct.
All right, great. Okay, so if there are no other questions then, Gene has listed the motions we need to take if you want to approve these. And the first one would be a motion to approve the Noble Energy ID wall sign as proposed, not to exceed 50 square feet.
Charlie?
Yes.
Before we move on that, may I have a question. We have just gotten this information to review as far as the signage and the size and the square footage. And I'm not sure everyone's had a chance to review it. If everyone is comfortable, then maybe we should go forward with the motion. But we may want to consider putting this off until the next time as well.
Well, I think Jane actually had, brought up, the issue of the signs, before. And, I think that the recommendation that she has is that, these are reasonable based on other waivers we've given for other similar projects as far as the size and scope and the location of the projects on major highways. I think the discussion has been to get this cleared up and let them know we want to allow them to move forward with this. I know that, the reason for the withdrawing the other signs is, of course, we don't know who's going to be in there. We don't really know the nature of the signs. And rather than just approve generic signs, I think we generally would wait to see signs that actually fit the groups that are going to go there. So unless the rest of the board has any other concerns, I think is to go forward with these. Does anyone else have any concerns about these?
Well, I guess, Charlie, this is Mike. I would just add, I was reading Jean's report, and she does reference some other sites, as you mentioned. But I guess what I didn't have in there was the size of those others that we approved, just so I could have a direct comparison between the two. Because I know Dane was trying to kind of, I think, share with us maybe the size of one of them there, but I feel like I need some comparisons to things we've approved in the past before I can be prepared to vote on something.
Okay. Anyone else? Or?
Since I may have been the one that started this, I'll say that I am prepared to vote tonight for what it's worth. I don't object to the signs personally on Route 20 in that area for these usage. I do get that there's a lot of uses on this property that require a lot of individual signs that cumulatively do add up in quantity and in area. I just wanted to clarify for myself the exact size of that sign. I can picture myself driving westbound on 20, coming around the corner, and it's going to be there. It's going to have presence.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, I will note, we did meet with Design Review Committee 3 times regarding the signage, and they did approve these at their last meeting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sue?
Charlie, comments have been made about the size of the signage in relation to the speed on Route 20 and facilitating a safe access to their property from Route 20 upon seeing the signage. Going 50 miles an hour, seeing the signage and doing a quick turn off of Route 20 into this facility is not going to make it isn't going to make any difference. People will know their destination by other means other than the signage there. And I think the square footage, I would like to compare it with other projects as well, because this is going to have a presence. It is lime green, and I would like to make sure that we're comfortable with this. Signage is one of the last things that is done in a project, so I think we have the time to ponder.
Well, I mean, as far as the color and the sign, I mean, we do have design review that we've asked to review those things, and as David brings up, they have approved them. I mean,
I know, but we have the final say too.
From the time, that I've been on, the board here, I mean, these sign sizes are certainly within the scope of variances and so forth that we've issued. So,
At what facility? So I can envision it.
well, I mean, we did it at, the Walmart Plaza. We've had conditions like this down on Route 15. Whenever we've had, projects like this, we've looked at, the signage, based on how the projects fit in with the area. And I think the town planner is certainly, has no issue with these particular signs, or she wouldn't have, had them go forward to the design review committee. I would, why don't we just go through it? If we have a motion and a vote, let's see if we can get these things through.
Okay, I don't see the hurry, but that's fine with me.
Well, I mean, does anyone else have a concern about that? I mean, it isn't going to change unless we really think there's something that is dramatically different from these signs. I mean, they've already been reviewed for quite a period of time here.
Not by us.
Mr. Chair, this is Mike Frisbee. If it helps Commissioner Waters, as an example, the mobile station and the pilot station, both those locations have multiple offerings inside. And we kind of mirrored our design size-wise off of those two, so we're not asking for anything more than what they have. I think we actually might be a smidge under what they had asked for and got relief for. So then those might be examples of something in town that you've seen. As far as the EV Discovery Center, we did want to make sure that the board was comfortable with the whole package of signs. That's why we withdrew the other signs off the building. We weren't sure exactly what those were going to look like. But the EV Discovery sign, as opposed to putting another pylon sign out on the roadway, we thought that because it's going to be a marquee landmark location, that if we had a little bit bigger sign on the building, so people could identify and understand what it was, that would be the intent. And our architects were trying to keep that in keeping with the size of the area on the building and not trying to overdo it. So, and those
I understand that. I read that in the report, and I appreciate that, Michael. But it's pretty much the EV Discovery Center that I am having questions about. The others, I agree that the signage, the pylon signage, et cetera, is appropriate for the area. It's the signage on the side of the building, on all 4 sides of the building.
For the EV
Did I
Discovery
miss-
Center? The EV
For
Discovery
the
Center?
Discovery, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually it's on the front and the back for the EV Discovery that we're looking at this evening. So it just shows where the main entrance coming in from the folks that will visit this center. But on the main side, you know, if it appeases the board, I mean, we can relook at that as well. So, you know, I think they are separate applications. The Noble Travel Center is one set of applications in that sign package, and then the EV Discovery one is separate as well. So,
Yeah. I mean, at least in my opinion, I mean, I think that, you know, the size of those signs, you know, looks reasonable, and they, you know, it's an attractive, I think, presentation that you have there. So I guess we can, you know, see what happens when we get to that vote. So I've asked for a motion that on the first sign, the Noble Energy ID wall sign, not to exceed 50 square feet. Do we have a motion to approve?
Charlie, could I just ask one question?
Sure.
Before we, it's just a reference point for me, because it's just hard for me with the square footage. Like, what percentage for the bylaws are the signs? Do we have that information? Does someone have that information?
What percentage?
Are we allowed?
Yeah. Like, are we talking about 15% larger, 150% larger?
Mr. Chairman, this is Dave Feist. I think the building signage, I believe is 30 square feet is allowed.
Yes, that's correct.
So in this particular case, I know part of the reasoning for the larger lettering signage was because of the landmark nature of the building, as well as Mike had mentioned, just to fit in with the architecture and be proportional with the building. So I can calculate those numbers if need be, but again, you know, 230 square feet is larger than the 30 square, you know, is 30. You know, so basically it's about 7.5 times larger than what would normally be allowed.
You're talking about the one for the...
On the road, this is on the Route 20 side for the EV Discovery Center.
but we're also allowed a pylon sign out on the roadway, so we kind of took that into consideration. When we were talking about the DRC, we were trying to pare down the number of signs, but we also have the multiple uses. So that was part of the consideration to have a larger sign on the building.
And if you take into account the pylon, not having a pylon sign, it's roughly about, you know, 2.5 times larger, I believe, than what would be allowed normally. And again, given the unique nature of the building, it was part of the reasoning to have it stand out in that way.
Does that answer your question, Mike, or?
It does, thank you.
All right. Getting back to the 50 square foot not to exceed sign, are we ready to make a motion on that?
So moved, Russell.
Okay, Russ. Any second?
Second to Jeff.
Jeff. Okay. Sue, how do you vote?
I'm reserving my vote.
Abstaining?
I'm abstaining, yes.
Okay. Chris?
Yes.
Dane?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Russ?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, the next motion is to approve the Noble Energy logo signs on each side of the gas canopies as proposed. 8 signs at 13.75 square feet each. Do you have a motion to approve that?
So moved, Chris.
Okay, Chris, thank you. Second?
Second, Russ.
Okay. Sue, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay. Chris?
Yes.
Dane?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Russ?
Yes.
Okay, and I vote yes. Very good. Thank you. Okay, the next one, number 3, is motion to approve the freestanding multi-tenant sign as proposed, not to exceed 65 square feet. You have a motion?
So moved, Jeff.
Jeff, okay, second?
Second, Sue?
Second, thank you, Sue. Sue, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Dane?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Russ?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, the next one then is the motion to approve the EV Discovery ID sign as proposed. Sign number 1 not to exceed 144 square feet, and sign number 2 not to exceed 230 square feet. Do we have a motion to approve that?
Charlie, can I ask one quick question on that one? They said they were externally illuminated. Are they downlit or uplit?
Yeah, I think we'll have some floods that are lighting from the ground up.
On the parking lot side too?
Well, that might be off a pole.
Interesting. Okay, answers my question. Thank you.
All right. So do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved, Chris?
Okay, Chris, thank you. A second?
Russ, second.
Russ, thank you. Sue, how do you vote?
Abstaining.
Okay. Chris?
Yes.
Dane?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Russ?
Yes.
And I vote yes, thank you. Okay, the next discussion was for a waiver of the landscape buffer. And the reason we need to look at this tonight, because if it's not granted, it will impact the overall layout and design of the site. So would we have a discussion, Dave, that you're going to discuss that, or?
Yes, and if I could please share my screen again, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
Yes.
And this is the latest update to the landscape plan for the proposed project prepared by Joe Cohn. What we're asking for is mainly basically a waiver from the 25-foot front yard landscape requirement, primarily in front of the filling station. On the EV Discovery side of the project, there will be the full 25-foot buffer from the property line back. Part of the reason is there are several issues when we came to the design of the site. Existing site actually is paved up to the property line, which you see here, so the dark heavy line. So we're actually increasing the landscape buffer to 12 feet into our project and providing some landscape lower plantings that are salt tolerant and won't impede site distances from the exit driveway. That actually will supplement, there's an additional width of basically a combination of a sidewalk that runs along the front of the property, along with grass area, which actually provides about a 28-foot to 38-foot landscape strip in front of the Noble Energy building, which we'll basically just, we're adding where the existing site doesn't have any landscaping on their property side. We're going to increase that. So our request is to allow for the landscape plan as shown.
Okay. Does anyone have any comments or questions or concerns about that?
I guess my question is, what is to the rear of the developed area, and why isn't it all just shoved backwards a few more feet? Is there grading or a site issue or property lines?
Yeah, if you look at, there's basically the rear of the site. The grade goes up fairly steeply towards the back in this back triangular corner. And in order to accommodate basically the drive-through lanes for the diesel as well as the site circulation, we really made it difficult. We couldn't really push it back much further. And the other thing as well I'll add is we're also able to reduce the overall site impervious area with the proposed layout we're showing, which will help reduce some of the runoff into the Route 20 system.
And you still have adequate queuing leaving the site with that long throat at the conjoined intersection. And then you have the dedicated truck exit on the other side, which is no trouble having a short setback there. So, very good. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you. Anyone else? If not, then could I have a motion then to grant the waiver to the front landscaping requirement as allowed for in section 25.070(1) of the zoning bylaw?
So moved, Jeff.
Yes, thank you. Do I have a second? Second, here, Jeff?
Second, Chris.
Chris, thank you. Okay, great. Sue, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Dane?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Russ?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, so the next then, and if there's nothing else to be brought up at this point, the motion then would be to continue the, well, we should ask if there's any public comments, any comments from the public?
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Oh, someone's dog wants to. Good evening. Is there anyone on the public line that would like to speak to the Noble Gas application for the planning board? Hello, is there anyone on the public line that would like to speak to the Noble Gas Travel Center application to the planning board?
There's no one on the public line.
Great. Okay, so if we have a motion then to continue the public hearing until June 22nd, 2021 at 6:45 p.m.
So moved.
Sue, and who's the second?
Chris.
Chris, thank you. Sue, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Dane?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Russ?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Very good. Thank you all very much.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Okay, so again, the town plan update, we just have a reminder of the June 7th annual town meeting. The zoning articles include codification, accessory dwelling units, village gateway district, and the floodplain changes. So if we can be there, that would be great. The next meeting dates are June 8th. We have no applications, I mentioned, at this time, so if there's no need for that meeting, right after the town meeting, we generally wouldn't meet, and we'll give you plenty of notice on that. And then on June 25th, we have the continuation. Both the, oh, wait a minute. That says June 25th, but did anyone check?
22nd. I think it should be the 22nd.
Okay, so we did the right vote anyway. So on June 22nd would be the continuation of the, these two public hearings. Very good. Okay, we'll move on to old or new business. Sue, do you have any old or new business?
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. Chris?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. I was driving down Route 20 there the other day, and I couldn't help but notice out in front of the pot shop next to the Friendlies there, they had a sign that said "Walk-ins welcome," and I seem to remember way back when they were applying for their different permits and all that on the board here, that they had said that it was going to be by appointment only. And I guess my question would be: is how do we enforce those kinds of things?
Well, no, actually, if I could, Chris, they did make a request to the Board of Selectmen to waive that requirement because when they opened, there really hadn't been any traffic issues or anything like that. So I believe the board granted them to allow walk-in, regular walk-in schedule because there was really no need for the appointment.
Yeah, no, and that's perfect. I just was curious if, how we kept track of that sort of thing and enforced it, but it sounds like it's all taken care of. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, great. Dane, any old or new?
No, I was just thinking if we ever need somebody to enforce them, we send Janae over there to yell at them.
I should go.
All right. Mike?
None, Charlie, no.
Okay, thank you. Jeff?
Nothing.
Russ?
I got a couple of things. One, going back to the local roots. I did previously ask Jean about the shrubbery there. If you notice, all the shrubs on the east side of the building are dead.
Right.
And she informed me that they are working on getting them all replaced.
Good.
So if anybody asks any questions about them, there's probably 20 or 25 shrubs there that are dead. So it was brought to my attention. So Jean says they're working on getting them replaced. Also, just let the board members know, I did submit my resignation from the planning board after 16 years on the board. We're not sure about the date. We're going to work that out between Jeff and Jean. Probably my guess is, but it's up to them, that we get through these public hearings, the two we had tonight, before it's effective. So I just thought I'd let the board know. It's been a pleasure. I got some issues coming up, and it was a very difficult decision, very, very difficult decision. But I just want to let the board know it's been a pleasure working with all of you. But I should be around for at least a couple more meetings anyways.
Well, that's good. We certainly look forward to that. And Russ, I mean, I've certainly enjoyed working with you. You've been a great member and always bring up some great issues. So I've really enjoyed it. And I understand that it is a difficult decision. And I just want to thank you for your service. You've done a great job.
I second that, Charlie.
Yeah.
I haven't known you long, but I've learned quite a bit. Thank you, Russ.
Very good. Okay, and I have no other old or new business, so if we could have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved, Russell.
And Russ, there you go.
Second.
Lou, how do you vote?
Yes.
Russ?
Yes.
Jane?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Russ?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Very good. Have a good rest of the evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Janine.
Have a good night.